I'm good. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Living life just like I should. Wouldn't change it if I could. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Living life just like I should. Wouldn't change it if I could. Trying to figure out who I am, who I'm supposed to be. Feel good about where I stand, so I can make the most of me. I'm coming back down from space, a million miles away. There's a lot of love in this place, and I'm just trying to say that I'm good. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Living life just like I should. Wouldn't change it if I could. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Living life just like I should. Wouldn't change it if I could. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Been a long time living this way, worrying about what people say. Feeling like I don't fit in, but I won't give up, no I won't give in. Been looking for something more. What you really looking for? Been with you since you were born. Since you were born. You're good, you're good, you're good, you're good. Living life just like I should. Wouldn't change it if I could. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Living life just like I should. Wouldn't change it if I could. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. You only live once. I'm good with myself. I'm there for my friends until the very end. You only live once. I'm good with myself. I'm there for my friends until the very end. And I want to see another love revolution. Find a way to be a better person. If we come together like we should, we could all be good. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Living life just like I should. Wouldn't change it if I could. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Living life just like I should. Wouldn't change it if I could. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good.
You are good. We are good. And today is a good day because today and every day we have swung wide the doors to the presence of God, knowing that Spirit is in this place and in all places and all people. And just as this beautiful sun has awakened us to a new day, the Spirit of God within awakens us to divine glory. And this glory within and all around us is everywhere we look and in every situation we encounter. With our hearts centered in Spirit, we can quiet our thoughts and meditate on the wonder of all of God's creation and our oneness with it. So I invite you now to take a deep breath, become comfortable, and gently release any cares of the day. Because your sole purpose at this moment is to experience the divine. And you begin to do so now as you relax in this sacred time and space at Unity Spiritual Center. Seeing through eyes of oneness, acknowledging our oneness, we at Unity Spiritual Center celebrate and honor people of every culture, of every creed, of every religion, of every race, of every age, and every lifestyle, knowing that there are many paths to God, many faces of God, many names for God, but only one God. And that God is expressing through all people in unique, special and individual ways. As you look at the flame of the candle that we light every Sunday, remember that you too have a divine flame within, that you are a divine spark of God, that you are an individualized expression of God. We honor the one presence and power of God with Unity's foundation statement, which you'll find on the screen behind me. And I invite you in joining me in saying it aloud together. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life, God the good, omnipotent. We give thanks for our spiritual community and for the beauty of our spiritual center. We give thanks that Unity Spiritual Center is a welcoming, warm, and inclusive community dedicated to studying and putting into practice empowering principles and tools for happiness, health, prosperity, and successful living. We give thanks that with our spiritual teachings, we can create extraordinary lives and a peaceful planet through our relationships with the loving God presence within each one of us and through our relationships with one another. Our vision and the opportunity for each one of us here is that you discover the power within you to create the life of your dreams, that you have peace of mind and deep happiness, that you enjoy joyous and loving relationships with yourself, with spirit, and with others, that you spend your days doing what you love and feel called to do, and most of all, that you know that your life matters, that you make a difference, and that the world is a better place because you're here. It doesn't look like there's anyone visiting us for the first time, but as you know, we pass out a shell lei that has a tag on it that says, just as God has a design for every shell in the sea, God also has a design for your life. It's just a lovely affirmation to repeat to one another. And as you know, we do have a hospitality hour following the service. I know that Susyn, our guest speaker, will be out there. She's brought some books to sell. Her new book is Heart Healing. She's going to talk to us more about that in the afternoon. And just know that if you have any questions about Unity or if there's anything else on your mind, please feel free to contact me for an appointment, to make an appointment. I'm always happy to have those conversations with people, and you can find my contact information on the back of all our printed material. And I'll also take this moment to introduce our guest speaker. Many of you are familiar with her already because she has been here before. We'd love to have her every time she's in San Francisco from the East Coast or from anywhere you happen to be. We love to have you here. And I'm just going to read the bio that's in the back of her new book. Susyn Reeve's life has been informed by a question she wrote in her journal when she was 14 years old. What would the world be like if everyone loved themselves? In Heart Healing, she shares her journey to healing her heart and the life of the wounds of the past. She is a master heart healing coach with a wealth of experience as a corporate consultant, self-esteem expert, interfaith minister, and award-winning author. Her previous books include The Wholehearted Life, Big Changes and Greater Happiness Week by Week, and The Inspired Life, Unleashing Your Mind's Capacity for Joy. As an elder, she is committed to sharing the wisdom of her experience and being a mighty expression of love in the world. So let's take this moment to formally or informally, as the case may be, welcome Susyn back to USC. So at this time, as we move into the meditative portion of our service and prepare to sing together, please do turn off your cell phones and any other electronic devices if you haven't done that already. And I will pass the baton to our music director, Michael Hatfield.
This is a tune. We're all going to sing it together. I think you'll recognize it once we hear it. It's been one of those tunes that's been repurposed many times. So the melody will sound very familiar. And it sounds like this. Heard that song before. When I am down and all my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I could be. There is no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. But when I come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I could be. I know everybody's whispering to themselves, but I want you to sing the chorus with me so I can actually hear you. The words will go like this. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. But we're going to sing it louder than that. That's our pitch. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I could be. One more time. You raise me up to more than I could be. That worked for me. Thank you.
So now as we continue to get comfortable in our seats, relaxing even more deeply into this time of worship, prayer, and meditation, let us open our hearts now to receive the message of today's daily word, which will be read by Linda Park.
Today's word, my home provides an energy of divine love to all who enter. When I consider the seemingly negative energies in the world around me, I may wonder how my positivity makes a difference. The answer can be found within the boundaries of the space that is my home. My love enfolds the physical form that is home for me, ensuring that it is safe and comfortable. With the same spiritual energy, I include all those who live within my home and those who visit. If there is another space that I consider a sacred space, a nature sanctuary, a spiritual center, or more, I include it in my prayer intention. It too radiates the same divine love that fills my heart. I am grateful for the comfort and support it provides me and all who enter there. Scripture word, my people will abide in a peaceful habitation and in quiet resting places. Isaiah 32, verse 18. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Unity Spiritual Center is a center of prayer and healing. As all of you know, we have a community prayer box that's placed in the back of our sanctuary. And you are always invited to fill one of the green prayer request forms out and place it in the box. And let's just take a moment to hold those requests, not knowing the specifics, but knowing that they are the prayers of the heart of our community. So let's hold those prayers in our hearts just for a moment. And let us know that no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what the specifics are, let's just know for each person that divine love and divine order is present in all of those situations. The prayer requests that are placed in the box are prayed on by me and our USC prayer team for 30 days. And then we forward them to Silent Unity at Unity's World Headquarters, where they're prayed on for an additional 30 days. And as I mentioned, we do have the green prayer request forms in the back of the sanctuary, and you are always invited to fill one out and place it in the box. But at this time, we want to make our prayers audible. We have this time in our service where you can offer your prayer needs to your spiritual family here, so that we can support you and stand with you. So after we sing the introduction to the song, which Micah will lead us through, you're invited to speak your prayer need aloud, and we will answer each prayer request by singing "Your Prayer is My Prayer Too."
We are connected by the heart. Where do you end? Where do I start? Whatever you feel, I feel too. You're a part of me, I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer too. 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 Your prayer is my prayer too.
I'd like to ask us to pray for two members of our congregation who are having surgery in the coming week. Joan Cody will be having surgery on November 29th, and Jonathan, who is the husband of Linda McCabe, will be having surgery on November 30th. So let's all hold them in our prayers.
Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too.
And we also have a time in our service where we open it up for you to share your gratitudes, your blessings, things that you're feeling especially thankful for. And in this week, hopefully we all have something to share, but this is your time to do that now.
I'm actually thankful for that rain too, for my grandson with his new rubber boots getting to stomp through puddles for the first time ever in his life. So I'm thankful for that. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We give thanks for this opportunity to bless and to be blessed in spirit. We give thanks for the feelings of peace, connection, and warmth that fill our hearts and minds right now. We give thanks for the privilege of praying for others in our community, in our nation, and around the globe. And we affirm that always and in all ways, no matter what the circumstances may be or seem like, divine order and divine love is everywhere present. At Unity Spiritual Center, your prayer is our prayer too. Amen.
There's a line in this tune, you'll see it come up in the lyrics. I don't want you to misconstrue what the line is. The way this song is built and what it's about is thanking for your life being where it is, no matter what has happened to you in the past. And there's a line in here that says, thank you, terror. It's there because it has two syllables, but it means thank you, fear, because fear drove her to figure it out. How about getting off these antibiotics? How about stopping eating when I am full up? How about them transparent dangling carrots? How about that ever-elusive kudo? Thank you, India. Thank you, terror. Thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, frailty. Thank you, consequence. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How about me not blaming you for everything? How about me enjoying the moment for once? How about how good it feels to finally forgive you? How about grieving it all one at a time? Thank you, India. Thank you, terror. Thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, frailty. Thank you, consequence. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The moment I let go of it was the moment I got home and I could handle. The moment I jumped off of it was the moment I touched down. Thank you, India. Thank you, Providence. Thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, nothingness. Thank you, clarity. Thank you, silence. How about no longer being masochistic? How about remembering your divinity? How about unabashedly bawling your eyes out? How about not equating death Thank you, India. Thank you, Providence. Thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, nothingness. Thank you, clarity. Thank you, silence. Oh, yes. Oh, oh. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it is such a treat to be here once again. My grandchildren live in San Francisco, and I'm often here at Thanksgiving time. And it's such a heart-filled gratitude feeling for me to come into this space and to feel as though I have a spiritual home here in San Francisco. And right now, standing before you, surrounded by this amazing art, I'm just feeling the chills moving through my body. So, today I'm talking about the heart of gratitude. Did everybody get a little heart? Is there anybody who didn't get a little charm when you came in? I'm someone who needs a lot of reminders to stay connected, to have my body, my mind, and my spirit aligned, to have the experience of wholeness. And so some of you may remember, I remember from when I was a child, Cracker Jacks came in a box, and inside the box somewhere was a charm. And they weren't plastic charms. They weren't little paper tattoos that I think are in some Cracker Jack box these days. But they were fabulous charms. And I remember reaching my hand amongst that caramelized popcorn down into the bottom of the box to get the charm. And I don't know where my charms are now, but I can tell you that I kept them in a very special place for many, many, many years. It might be so special that they're still there, I just don't remember the place. And so many years ago, when I started speaking to groups, I thought I would give out charms. And so this charm is a reminder for you and for me. I have one in my purse. A reminder that gratitude starts in the heart. While gratitude is expressed in our actions and in our words, the starting place for it is in a loving heart. And the vibration of gratitude is a place of being. It is an energy. And while there are some days that we wake up and may not be grateful for the new day because of the challenges and the problems that we see before us, since our time on our home planet is really short, and what I've learned, the older I get, the shorter it gets. You may remember when you were a child, and from one birthday to the next felt like forever. And now it goes like that in the snap of a finger. And so something that we each can have gratitude for is that each new day offers new possibilities, offers a new perspective, can be approached as, in a sense, a blank slate. We don't know who we'll see. We don't know what we'll see. Last night, the bedroom that I sleep in at my daughter's is up in the attic. And last night, as I was walking into the bedroom, I passed a skylight and happened to look up and saw the moon. And in that moment, I felt this sense of, isn't Earth magnificent? And then I felt a deep sense of gratitude that I could see the moon. Because last week, the haze was such, as a result of the smoke from the fires, that it was hard really to see much beyond the house I was in. And so I encourage us to wake up each day with an affirmation, with a love note to ourself that goes something like, I'm sharing mine, thank you for another day of loving. And to end each day with that same affirmation, thank you for another day of loving. You know, what I'm aware of, I'm going to share a story with you. It's a story of a random act of kindness. And what I realized 20 years after I had this experience is what the gift was in the experience. What the gift that I'm grateful for was in the experience. I live on the East Coast. I lived in an area at that time called the Hamptons, a beautiful area on the Atlantic Ocean. And I had spent Labor Day with friends in Connecticut. And I was driving back home in my little red sports car with the top down and my old English sheepdog in the passenger seat, and just feeling wonderful. And I came to a toll booth. And because I so rarely drove this car on highways, I didn't have an easy pass or whatever it's called here in California. And so I had to get on an extremely long line behind cars that were waiting to pay cash. And as I'm on the line, I hear this nudge inside of me. Pay for the car behind you. Pay the toll for the car behind you. And you know what that voice sounds like? When you know it's from your heart, it's a clear statement. There's no big story attached to it, but it's this clear nudge. And so I thought, yeah, in my first book, I wrote about random acts of kindness, and at that time, I made a commitment to myself that whenever I felt this nudge, I would follow the instruction. So I settled in my seat, looked in my rear view mirror, and made up a story about the people in the car behind me. And it looked as though there were two kids in the back seat and that there were their parents. You know, I have no idea the relationships, but this is a story that I made up. And I was going to pay the toll. And how then they would go home and they would share that somebody had paid their toll, and who knew the ripple effect of this simple act of paying this $6 toll for the car behind me. So I was pretty full of myself, of how aren't I so good? I'm paying attention to the prompting. I'm going to do this random act of kindness that I had committed to. And I settled into my seat when this big truck pickup from the lane to my right started to nudge in front of me. And there was immediate transformation. I turned into a New York City cab driver. Nobody, and I mean nobody, was getting in front of me. And yes, transformation can also be in the direction from loving to less than loving. And that car did not get behind me. I mean, no, that car did not get in front of me. So there I was moments later, and this pickup truck was behind me. And again, I'm hearing, pay the toll for the car behind you. And I got a little righteous because I've taken a lot of psychology courses, and I did not want to reinforce this bad behavior, totally forgetting what my behavior was like. I did not want to reinforce this bad behavior of this truck cutting in front of me. And I still had to wait until I got to the toll booth, and I'm negotiating with myself at this point. And then I hear it again, pay for the car behind you. And I thought, okay, I made that commitment. I paid for the car behind me, took off, and then had a story to tell about it. Well, recently this story popped into my mind again. And I realized after 20 years the gift of this experience. Sometimes it takes me a long time to get the gift. And the gift was to take a look at what are the conditions I place on kindness? What are the conditions that I place on gratitude? And if I'm living, if my goal, if truly my purpose is to be a mighty expression of love, then who am I to make the judgment of who deserves to receive kindness? And it's the same with appreciation and gratitude. As Michael mentioned, the word terror comes up in the song that we just heard. And we can look at terror as the fear that we feel within our beings. And so often we want to get rid of that feeling. We shouldn't feel that way. We've gone to workshops. We've come to Sunday services. We've read scripture. And yet, how often do we put conditions on where we direct our love? And so that experience, 20 years later, I realized was an opening for me to be kind, and even to be kind to myself for turning into, on the verge of road rage, simply because one car wanted to get in front of me, probably because they were in a fast track lane and didn't have a transponder in their car. Who knows for sure why that is? But so often we hold back the love that we have access to because you said that mean thing to me last week. Because I've decided you don't deserve it. Because if I'm nice to you, are you going to be nice to me in return? These little conditions that we place over and over again on stopping the flow of love to others. And then what are the conditions that we use in stopping the flow of love to ourselves? Have you ever had the experience when someone says to you, whoa, you had your hair cut, it looks great. Say, well, no, in about 2 weeks then it will be the right length. Or somebody gives you a compliment about something, and before saying thank you, or possibly never even thinking to say thank you, we say, why? There's a spot on this tie. There's that was really no big deal that I helped you carry your groceries inside. Whatever it is. I had an experience this morning. I was dressed and ready to come here. And I thought, I better have a little protein. So I grabbed some turkey, and I had made some cranberry sauce. I had this little piece of turkey with some cranberry sauce on it, and the next thing I knew, the cranberry sauce was on my dress. And I looked at the clock, and there was no time to change my clothes. And then I got into, and this all happens very quickly. And then I got into, whoa, if this stains, what are people going to think? And then I got up, I went to the sink, I got a sponge, put a little soap on it, and started washing the 3 spots where the cranberry sauce had bounced. And I thought, how grateful I am that I'm in a house that I can turn on a faucet and there's water, that there's a sponge here for me, and that there's soap right out the sink. And now, this does not sound like the biggest issue in the world, and it certainly isn't. But what does it mean to live life as a thank you? What does it mean for each of us to incorporate in our day the opportunity to be grateful? How does that change our experience of whatever is going on? Many, many, many years ago, I used to get annoyed when I was in traffic, like nobody else should be on the road that I'm on when I have to go someplace. And then one day it occurred to me, since we're making up the meaning that we give to circumstances all the time, one day I decided, actually, one day I heard, in the midst of my being annoyed and worried that I was going to be late as I sat in traffic, the thought popped into my mind, this must be the safest place for me to be. So now, years later, when I'm in traffic, I will admit there are times I let out a scream, and that moves the energy through my body, and then the thought, this must be the safest place for me to be. So when we make the choice in our lives to live in gratitude, part of what that means is that we get to define circumstances and situations. We get to make up meaning that opens our heart. And sometimes in that heart opening, there are tears. There's that release of the anger, the loss, the grief. And in that opening and the release, we expand and deepen our capacity to be mighty expressions of love in the world. So this morning I was reminded that he was born in the 13th century. Some of you may have heard this name before, Meister Eckhart. He was a theologian, a philosopher, and a mystic. And he wrote, let me find the exact words. He wrote, "If the only prayer you ever say is thank you, it will be enough." And as I got a ride here this morning, I was thinking about this. And in part, I was thinking that the saying thank you affirms that whatever our request is, whatever our ask is, it's a trust and a faith that it's heard and answered. The answer may not look exactly like what we think it should, and I'm underscoring the word should, look like. But when we are open and trust in the loving energy of the universe, in a loving God, our prayers are answered. And it's also a reminder to me to cherish the time I have here on this planet, here in this space with you at this very moment. And so I encourage you to play with gratitude in your daily life. And here's a way I suggest it's done. Every day, you can do it first thing in the morning, you can do it in the afternoon, you can do it before you go to sleep. You make a list of 5 things you're grateful for. One of the things on the list is something you have never expressed gratitude for in your life. I'm looking at a clock right now, and I realize I've never expressed gratitude for a second hand on a clock before. I mean, it's playing with and expanding our view of gratitude. Something else on the list is something you are grateful for about yourself. Your sense of humor, your willingness to feel your feelings, and in the feeling of them, letting them go. And then 3 other things that are your choice. So I'm just curious, I'd love to hear, just call it out. What's something you're grateful for that you have never before expressed gratitude for? Traffic. Okay. Because it's the safest place to be. Anything else? Being able to find the right shoe size, particularly when they're shoes you love. What else? Chocolate. Yum. One more. Sadness. Yes, because we are humans and we have a full range of emotion. And when we can acknowledge our sadness, we can ultimately have greater compassion for those who are sad, rather than telling them, oh, cheer up, don't feel that way, it'll be gone soon. But like, good for you to have the courage to acknowledge what you're feeling in the moment. So I leave you with the words of Meister Eckhart. If the only prayer you ever say is thank you, it will be, and it is, enough. Okay, now I get to do the meditation. And the meditation, I ask you, we're going to use the charms that I gave you for this meditation. So some of you have already put it into a very special place. Just take it out. And close your eyes. Making yourself comfortable. And with your charm in your hand, place it next to your heart. And take a few moments to focus on your breath. Inhaling fully and exhaling completely. And as you focus on your breath, be aware that you are in the present moment. And the present moment is a gift. And on your next out-breath, surrender to the support of the seat beneath your body. And as you experience the physical support of the seat beneath your body, be aware that this physical support is a reflection of the invisible resources and support always available to you. And now, using your breath easily and effortlessly, breathe into your heart. And allow gratitude to fill you from the inside out. Allow your grateful heart to become aware of all that you are thankful for. And now expand your gratitude to the world that we all share. Becoming aware of your gratitude for our world. More aware than ever before that as each of us experiences gratitude with an open heart, we each contribute to the collective consciousness, nourishing the energy of love, of kindness, of compassion for all beings. Knowing that each one of us generates a ripple effect of gratitude energetically, making our presence always a precious gift. And now acknowledge yourself for being a mighty expression of love in the world. And for knowing that your thank you charm now carries the energy to remind you that you are a mighty expression of gratitude. And at your own speed, take a deep cleansing breath, opening your eyes, wide awake, alert, in this sacred presence, in this community of love. Thank you.
That was awesome. Why don't we give Susyn a big round of applause for that? Thank you so much, Susyn. I'm thankful to be able to call you a friend. People don't know that I am blessed to have a conversation with Susyn every month, and we've supported each other through quite a number of life transitions, and I'm grateful for you. So thank you so much for being here. Oh, so much to be grateful for. And one of them is that unity, this place that we call our spiritual home, these teachings that we call our spiritual truth. Unity offers positive, practical, progressive spiritual teachings and tools that honor the universal truth in all religions and respects each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. And here at Unity Spiritual Center, we have an exciting vision, inspiring mission, and compelling values by which we strive to live. And I invite you to join with me in saying them aloud together. Our vision is centered in God. We co-create a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Our mission is we are a creative, joy-filled spiritual community dedicated to healing, inspiring, and transforming the lives of all people through prayer, education, and love. And our values are: we are spirit-led, generous with resources, inclusive, joyously creative, and guided by integrity. And Valerie and Linda, thank you so much for being on the ball, but I'm going to ask you to take a seat for a second because we are going to do something different for the rest of the year. We are going to invite people to give their experiences, just 5 minutes of testimony about their experiences at Unity Spiritual Center. And I'm so happy to launch this with one half of a duo who with their sons have added so much to our community. And we're just so thrilled that Josephine, who is about to give her testimonial, is on our board of trustees. We're so grateful for you, Reuben and Josephine, and for your sons, and for all you bring to us. And here's Josephine to give us her perspective on what Unity Spiritual Center has meant for her. So here's Josephine Town.
Thank you. I wanted to talk about why I've been here with my family since October 2016, and I think the timing all came together perfectly. So before I came into Unity, I would call myself probably a spiritual skeptic. I started by compartmentalizing the practical and the spiritual, and I started, I think the first preschool I went to was a Christian school in the Western Addition. So I was one of a few students that wasn't African American. But I remember singing songs and saying grace, and I was singing Christian hymns. And it didn't mean anything to me, but I really liked singing them. And then my family is Buddhist, so I always grew up with the Buddhist aspect around me. And when we did go to temple, I always felt very nice, but it was always in Burmese. So I couldn't understand what they were saying, but it felt good. And then for 3rd to 8th grade, I went to Catholic school. And again, I took it more as a history lesson than knowing that it was a religious practice for myself, because it wasn't naturally growing up that way. But again, I learned to love the music. So I ended up singing in after college, or during college and after college in choirs. And I found that I just loved singing in Latin. And again, I didn't know what I was saying, but it felt really good. And so that was very uplifting. And I think what came together perfectly was we stepped into Unity, this place, when it was October 2016, so just before the elections. And so I didn't think too hard about that. I came in here, I thought, this place is beautiful. It's got incredible music, an incredible welcoming feeling of just, I think it meant so much to hear the words every Sunday, to hear you matter and you make a difference. And so what comes out of that is we came in, and I knew that there was some kind of undercurrent of knowing I don't feel quite comfortable with just society in itself, knowing that we're on the cusp of maybe a huge social change with the results of this election, or this past election. And so I think that's what actually kept me and looking forward to coming back every week, was right before the elections, was maybe our second trip here. And then right after election, that's what made me feel like we have to stay, just because of the guidance of how to get through this completely new reality that I didn't feel grounded for. And being here has given us that direction, myself in particular. So talking about things that really mean something to me is the sense of friendship that I've gotten just within the sanctuary, how it moves over into fellowship where we eat together, and then making friends not only from there but going beyond. We'll meet together, we'll go on walks, go to visit each other, and that's been very special. I never expected that to happen. And then being here is being able to hear each other's prayers, to acknowledge the gratitude that we share with each other has been very, very special. And it's been a very safe place to feel like I can actually cry. And so thank you for that. And Children's Church, our children have loved coming here. They have never said that they didn't want to come. So it's been very special for them to be able to share what they do in there and then come share it with all of us. Another thing I love and have gotten so much from are the workshops that have been offered here. They give me safe space and time to not feel guilty about doing something for myself, to be self-reflective through the art workshops, through the Reiki class, which is an amazing 3-day workshop, and the book club, which is an awesome way to spend time. All these things, the art, the Reiki, the book club, are ways that I was able to expand and get to know other people well as I was getting to know myself better. And so I encourage everyone, if you have a chance to at least one workshop through the year, attend one and I'll get a sense of what that's very fulfilling. And with that, the growth, the fellowship, the creativity, the expression, and the self-reflection that I felt, and I know that everyone has felt in their own way, however long or short you've been here, is my deep desire is to see this place grow in size, because the spirituality and commitment is very rich, and I want to have us physically grow in size within here. And so a lot of that takes being actively marketing unity and this space. And so I find that the most effective way of marketing is just to tell a friend, and that's the ripple effect. Once you get one friend to come, and then everyone will kind of be able to, passing it forward, be able to share what they find special about being here and wanting to stay. So I really am so happy to see new faces, but even happier to see those new faces come back and stay. So things that I think of for my children, in their school they have their garden teacher tells them there are 4 things that plants need to thrive. And so that follows the acronym SWAN, S-W-A-N. So I kind of picture a beautiful swan. The S is for sun, W is for water, A is for air, N is for nutrients. So I'm trying to think, how would I think of how unity thrives? And I would say S is for spiritual. We get that through our services in music and our meditation, the special time to meditate. W is for wellness. The wellness comes from our friendships, from the food we share, the workshops that I've gained so much from, and I know everyone will as well. A is for active, for us to stay united, volunteering within here, taking care of each other as friends outside of here, just being mindful of connecting, so staying active. And the N for nurture, we nurture ourselves by financially supporting this place, because without the finances, we wouldn't be able to keep things running here. So I see that I compartmentalized the practical and the spiritual for all these years, but finally bring it together here, brings together the practical and the spiritual, to know that by giving of time, of money, has been able to bring this place to be fully what I feel it to be in my heart. So that's what I get the most from Unity, is all of you and what this space provides, and the music and the spirit that everyone provides. So thank you so much.
Isn't she wonderful? We are blessed. So feeling inspired by what we've heard from Susyn, what we've heard from Josephine, feeling inspired by our vision, mission, and values, by all that we've experienced here today and what we're about to experience during our fellowship hour and during our afternoon workshop, which I'll talk a little bit about in a few minutes. Let us take time now to be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. Practicing the principle of tithing ourselves as a spiritual community, we will be tithing 10% of the offering collected today to Unity Online Radio and to the West Central region of Unity churches. So let's take a moment now to bless our tithes and love offerings, holding them in our hands or next to our hearts as we say our offertory prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
All right. Andrew, would you put what you have up on the screen so I can explain it? Okay. Oh, they've got it all. We're going to have to skip ahead. We're going to find the chorus. Yeah. Woo! Yeah. Okay, we're getting there. Keep going. Yeah, there we go. There we go. When we were working on this tune, I said, okay, this has a rap in it. I can't begin to tell you how many chapters I'm going to try to do while I do this. So I thought, who's ever running AV, which unfortunately, Andrew, it's you, would have a lot of catching up to do. And then plus I have to be right. So it'll be good. But here's the part we care about that I want you to sing with me when we get there. And it sounds like this. Okay, it sounds, all that I am, all that I see, all that I've been and all I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all. And it'll be very obvious when I finally get there because I'll quit talking. So it sounds like this. All right, all the way back, Andrew. You're my life, you're your breath, you're a smile, you're a guest, you're the earth, you're the sun, you're the grass, you are love, you're my hands, you're a bug, you're my eyes, you're a hug, you're the light in the dark, you're the spark, you're a fire, you're a moon, you're a water, you're the stars, you're my dog, you're my friend till the end, you're my friend, you're my father, you're the ants on the ground, the miracles are surrounding, and I'm feeling all around the hemisphere with the clouds, you're my pain, you're my sorrow, you're my hope, you're tomorrow, you're the strength when I would follow, you're the path that I follow, you're the blessings that exist, all things that are bliss, the gift to realize it. All that I am, all that I see, all that I've been and all I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all. Na 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 na. You're the blessings every time I try to count. You're the lessons that I learn every time I turn around. You're the water when I'm burnt. Every time I think I found everything I'm looking for. You're the sign saying stop to think about and keep moving forward and start looking towards your heart. It'll open all the doors and then you'll start to hear the words singing chorus with your mind and your heart aligned in purpose. Everything will be all that I am, all that I see, all that I've been and all I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all. Na 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 na. Grateful for it. Every day I sit and pray, 'cause what I have is more than I deserve or could ever imagine. How do I give back to all this magic and spread the love so rich so everyone can have it. Doesn't matter if I'm rich or I'm poor, if I got a family or if I'm all alone. Bad things happen, I can just complain and moan, but there's a million things that I can be grateful for. All that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all. Every day I sit and pray, 'cause what I have is more than I deserve or could ever imagine. How do I give back to all of this magic and spread the love so everybody happy? Doesn't matter if I'm rich or poor, if I got a family or if I'm all alone. Bad things happen, I can just complain and moan, but there's a million things that I can be grateful for. All that I have, all that I see, all that I've been, and all I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all. So this will be So I Lift My Hands Up Now, and so I lift up my hands now, and I open up my heart, and my gratitude goes out to everything near or far. All that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all.
Such a great song.
We give thanks for the many blessings that are in our church this very moment. We open ourselves to the infinite possibilities that are ours to choose. Filled with a mighty faith that empowers and frees us to live our divine purpose and serve our community with excellence. And so it is.
So I've got a few announcements that I want to make. First of all, I just want to thank everybody who contributed to our annual Thanksgiving potluck last week. It was a lot of fun. Especially wanted to thank Rosa Bundy. Rosa, I don't know if you can hear me in the kitchen, but she took on the task of cooking our turkey, which was delicious. So many thanks to all of you. Let's give everyone a round of applause for such a lovely event last week. Given the many blessings of our community, I do want to remind all of us that there is a bin in the hallway. Actually twice a year, we do a food drive for the local food bank. And when I looked at it this morning, the bottom is barely getting covered. So I'm really hoping that if you didn't bring food today to add to the bin, know that we would be happy to accept donations through the week between the hours of 10 and 3. The food barrel is getting picked up on Thursday. So if you could bring them in before Wednesday, we'd sure appreciate that so that we can spread the joy and the blessings that we have to others in need. As I mentioned, today Susyn is going to be offering us a wonderful workshop based on her new book. It just came out, The Wholehearted Life, or actually Heart Healing, living a wholehearted life. And we've got the time, there's some flyers in the back and in the Fillmore room. We've got the time down as 1 o'clock, but I think if we have enough people gathered, we could start it a little bit earlier if you'd like. So if you're interested in attending that, please hang out and let me know if you're planning on coming. There's some really wonderful aspects to this book. I'm really excited to see what you do. Her workshops are always really a wonderful use of time. You're going to walk away with some wonderful tools and feel blessed by life. So let's take a look around 12:30, 12:45. We'll see who's planning to attend. The suggested love offering is $20. Don't let that stop you. If funds are an issue, we are happy to waive that for you for whatever you are able to contribute. So do plan on joining us for Heart Healing, Living a Wholehearted Life, the workshop. And last but not least, I want to mention our fund drive. As I think all of you know, you've heard me mention this before. We're doing a ambitious fund drive this year. We have a lot of exciting things that we want to do to our building and grounds, as well as build up some healthy reserves. One of the plans is to build a labyrinth outside that is bordered by our beautiful garden. But we also have some wonderful other things that we'd like to use that generosity toward. So we're a little bit above 20% of the way there. We're continuing our fund drive through December 31st. If you haven't donated already, please do prayerfully consider that, because it really means so much to us. And as Josephine did such a beautiful job of expressing, we hope to attract more and more people, and this is a way that we can serve all who come through our doors. So if you'd like to give, there are two ways to, actually there's any way you want to do it. We'll take your offering, but specifically if you have a check, you can write prosperity in the memo section of your check, or if you decide to donate online, there is a button on our website and you can just write prosperity on your online donation note section, and then we'll know that it's for the fund drive. So many thanks for supporting that, and we will bring in our kids.
Before I start that little groove, there's a quote from Shakti Gawain up here. Shakti passed away last week.
She did, yeah. Did you know her?
Yes.
Yeah?
She hired me to do a concert with her.
No kidding.
And she came over to my house, and I said, well, what do you want to do? She goes, Elvis songs. I am not kidding.
Wow.
So she did a night of singing nothing but Elvis songs. It was crazy, because you read all these wonderful, loving quotes, and then she wanted to sing Hound Dog. So there you go. Here we go.
Awesome.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Dear Louis, we'd like to thank you for all your beautiful work with the Bureau. We hope you can help many more kids. Here we send a Banguro book for everyone to enjoy from your friends at Unity. With love, Unity Children's Church.
you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the presence of God in you, empowering you to do great things. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever I am, God is.